I'm good to go.
My life is yours.
Let's move out. Stand back. Easy. A little harder than I thought. Let's leave this right here. A little harder than I thought. Ready?
My life is yours. have succeeded. This is ridiculous. How may I serve?
Yeah, something wrong? Go ahead and ask. Look, before we get into a game of guess the pizzazz... Talk. About what?
More visitors. I don't know how many more of these pests I can disintegrate. Ah, what remains of the bounty hunters have found me. Now it is time to cue the detonation sequence.
Donos Emerakith, Wanarakorachi Drum. Taranamo Sibu and Asarans, Kramer, Bachabi Doko, Donaranga Manachunga.
Soon we shall know. Good to go.
Mechana creve mopa. Tamasuna ramga mak chochane. Anta screen sochi. Norcha hereme chok windido.
I can't believe we just blew up Godo's yacht. That's gonna destabilize crime throughout this whole sector.
Yeah, well, you'll understand if I hold back the tears.
You don't understand. Crime in the YouTube system, it's like the economy. Plus the power vacuum. Even if Voga gets up and running again, the system is gonna be feeling the effects for years to come.
Yeah, well, at least we didn't find that Jedi Master with the weird name. Zez, Kai, whatever it is.
Zez Kyle? Well, that's not true. I already found him. Actually, he found me first. He hired me to watch out for you, keep Godo off your back until he could meet with you. We'll need to head back to Nar Shaddaa, to that safe house off the docks. I said I'd meet up with him there if we ran into any trouble. What do you want now?
If you thought to escape my notice so easily, you would be wrong. As a token of my goodwill, I present to you a gift. I'm afraid I do not understand what you mean. As I indicated, it will also serve as an effective voice. I cannot harm you. You are the prey that you do not prove your...
So, you have returned from exile. Kavar thought you might, if only to wander your old battlegrounds. But I did not think you would come to Nar Shaddaa. Still, you were always a difficult one to read, both when you were tied to the Force, and even more when it was lost to you. I do not know. It was a sense he had, and he had served in war as you had. Perhaps he thought he understood you, or maybe he simply hoped he did. He felt you were the key to understanding the threat we face. The others were not so certain, but so many of them are gone now. as you no doubt know. He sensed some connection between you and many of the worlds touched by war. He thought by traveling to such places, he could achieve understanding. No doubt. I think the answers will provide us both with some measure of peace. I have kept secrets for far too long. They have scattered, but there is purpose in their movements. It is both. Somehow, we, are being targeted through the... So we have chosen places where it is difficult to sense other... In such places, we may conceal ourselves, gather information, without presenting ourselves as targets. It was part of Kavar's plan. Yes, he felt if our enemy cannot detect us, then perhaps they would believe themselves victorious and show themselves. And we knew that the war would be lost if we continued to act as we had. I do not know where they wander now. There are few of us, though. Too few, and I have not heard from them in some time. Vrook still lives? I had not felt his presence for some time. Atris, but I had thought she had gone to Kotor with the others. Yes, she holds the last of the Jedi teachings. It is good. What I can tell... We told you it was because you followed Revan to war, but you ask because... Nor were we. The day we cast you out, that is the moment I decided to leave the Order, because I do not believe we truly faced... I think it was because we were afraid. It is a difficult thing to live one's life with the Force. Very well. I had thought perhaps that here upon the Smuggler's Moon, the bounties on Jedi and their disappearance, and the strong currents of life here on Nar Shaddaa make perceiving a Force user difficult. I could use it to cloak my movements and watch. No, you are right. That is not the whole truth. It is difficult to detect a Force user on Nar Shaddaa, and I knew it. This threat we face, it leaves wounds in the Force when it strikes. It leaves nothing. To live life without the Force, to vanish and die and leave only an echo, it was terrifying. To be connected to all life around you, then to have it stripped, I can only imagine what it must have been like for you. But there is more than that. On Nar Shaddaa, from the failure of the Masters, from our failure to properly train Jedi, came... There have been so many failures, by teachers who believed in the code with all their being. Master Arca failed Ulik, as Master Boss failed Exar Kun, as Kay and Zar and the others of the... For all the acts we do to preserve the galaxy, from such an arrogance that all we do is right and just. Exar Kun, Ulik Keldroma, Malak, Revan, you, all... You can hear it echo on Nar Shaddaa. Sometimes when the moon is on orbit, it is a frightening thing to feel. And I think that maybe, perhaps, to forsake the Force as you did, you taught me something important in the Council Chamber long ago, Exile. You were right to do what you did. Everything you did. Now I must take up the role I was ready to cast aside. This threat has... I did not speak fully of what I have felt. Staying on Nar Shaddaa, it is an exile of sorts, one that I have chosen. I, too, lost a Padawan on Malachor, not to the battle, and I was not the only Jedi Master to watch a student turn up. No, they were not to blame, but many of the Order, perhaps the Council, perhaps the Order itself. It is easy to cast blame, but it is perhaps time the Order accepted responsibility for their teaching. Not once did I hear one of the Council claim responsibility for Revan. Yet, you were the only one who came back from the wars to face our judgment. And rather than attempting to... Our one chance to see where we had gone wrong, and we cast it aside. And now, that perhaps there is something wrong in us, in our teachings. And though I tried, and I was not the only one, that is why many scattered, and why many in the... Make no mistake, I am no Jedi. This is the end, and I think it will be. Do you wish to do battle now? It provides no comfort at all, for reasons and... Suffice to say, redemption was not Revan's choice, and I have never believed those of the Council who attempt to console them. But we have spoken enough, I think. And words, I think, dull us both. Sometimes, sparring with another can achieve a form of meditation. The Niemann form is one of the best such techniques. There is no great strengths, no edge in such a form, but yet, it achieves its worth in not leaving you as exposed as some of the more aggressive forms. Its strength is its balance. Perhaps exile has been good to you indeed. I shall go to Dantooine, to the ruins of the Enclave. And thank you, exile. You're returning.
Unnecessary observation. You are eliminating many annoying recitation. Recitation. Optimal. Optimal accuracy ratio achieved. Optimal accuracy ratio achieved. Optimal accuracy ratio achieved. Optimal accuracy ratio achieved. Systems failing, Master. Optimal accuracy ratio achieved, Master. Systems failing, Master. Unnecessary observation. Annoying recitation. Optimal accuracy ratio achieved.
HK-47, I did not realize that you still existed, especially now that the other generations are activated.
Query. What is it you wish, Fat One?
I see that your recent reassembly has not...
Statement. If I require...
Oh, I do. There is much work that needs to...
Query. Have we had the misfortune to meet before?
Oh, yeah. And I have not...
Yes, I'm using the communication system. I need to report back to my superiors or else they will send someone looking for me. I would rather not cause a scene by having them show up. Yes, it is a Republic transmission, but Indeed. And what message is that? Ah. So you are the T3 unit I've heard so much about. Yes?
I picked up a transmission to Telos.
Ah.
Who was it going to?
That is not your concern.
That's where you're wrong. Who was the transmission going to?
The transmission was for the Republic. If I do not check in with them, they would send someone after me. I would rather we travel unnoticed for now. They will be unable to trace the coordinates of the transmission.
So you are a spy?
I am a representative of the Republic, doing research on missing Jedi, as I have said. I am not a spy. I am here to protect her.
My life for your... I am prepared both. I understand. I do not understand. I will answer what... My life. I am prepared for whatever... I understand now. My life. I will answer what...
Statement. HK-47 is ready to serve, Master. Statement. Answer. My consolation. Statement. Statement.
Yes, General?
Yes? Have you come with questions? Ask, and I will answer.
Yeah, what do you want? The Republic were it not open only. I'm sure. I'm not acute. Now is.
Yes? Is some... At times, I meditate, simply close my eyes, and listen. I try to treasure these moments before the next. Of course, it would be my pleasure. I try to treasure these moments before the... That is hard.
Yeah, something wrong? Grenades. Well, I don't like to use them unless they're C5 concussion spheres or the Merson cryoband pellets. It makes their head explode like a melon. And don't do it to a Celestine either. Makes their ears bleed and they gibber twice as fast. Alright, alright. Shoot. It's all this traveling, being trapped in the ship. Everything's just too quiet. I'd rather be doing something, somewhere with people, activity. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been off planet. Guess I got used to it. Well, Nar Shaddaa may be one of the biggest cesspits, and it's got a life to it. Activity, aliens, people, refugees. It's like noise. Yeah, well, I wouldn't go that far. I'll believe it when I... No thanks. Alright. It's all this traveling, being trapped in the ship. Everything's... I'd rather be doing something. Look, before we get into a game... Go ahead, nah. I've killed people before, but not a... Oh, do I? Is that it? How you could... Jedi don't have family. I know. Get away from me. The next time you come and ask me a question... What do you want now? Whatever, don't worry about it. It's just a sort... Yeah, well, they're dead. That's how that story ends. But not everybody's story has to end with losing their family or their loved ones. There's a lot of lost people out there. Scattered ever since the Mandalorian War. And maybe, just maybe by finding them... Maybe. I don't even know why I'm telling you this. But you're not getting... Shoot. Hanhar's only a bounty hunter because that's the closest word for what he does. He's not out for credit. It's like he's out to make the whole galaxy suffer. Every living thing in it. He wants to break them, ruin... I didn't kill him once. Biggest mistake ever. Do you really want to hear this? Well, Hanhar and me go way back, in the worst possible way. He's from some forest planet on the Outer Rim where Zerka had set up one of their slaving operations. I don't remember the name. Something with too many K's and Y's. Sounds like you're... No idea. He's just... I get the impression he's not a good representative of his people, though. He's the equivalent of a mad calf hound among... Some of Voga the Hett's men said Hanhar killed his own tribe, but... Those two crud thugs lie every time they open their mouths, so who knows? I don't remember the name. Well, not for long. Once off planet, Hanhar escaped... I don't know. I always thought he just liked using them as weapons. Well, before you get too proud of him, Hanhar figured Zerk... I don't think he understood the... You ever hear of Dursan 3? Or the... Right. That's because Hanhar happened. He makes what happened to his homeworld look like an ex... He's not a bounty hunter. It's like he's out to enslave or kill every human in the galaxy. Anyone who paid credits. The ones who survived, he sold to the exchange. He and Voga used to do big credit transactions. I was prey. And not only did I escape, but I saved his life while doing it. He's been... I don't pretend to understand it, but among his people, they have these codes, but somewhere along the line, his people form these things called life debts. If you save the life of one of them, they pledge them. Well, with Hanhar, he can't escape that life debt. So when I saved his life, it was the worst thing I could do. It was... A life debt to Hanhar is a death sentence. He'll hunt you until you're dead. When I say... And so he kept chasing me in hopes I would die. I think the fact I showed him mercy after hating... Yeah, tell me about it. Like I said, I get the impression a life debt's supposed to be a gift. But to Hanhar, it's more like a curse to both people involved. Probably. But if he had multiple life debts, especially to... Hanhar's tough. Really tough. And when he loses... I've seen him shrug off blaster bolts, both and stunners, and even survive a freighter crash on Dursan 3. Oh, I'm glad he's gone. It's like a weight off my shoulders. I don't have to keep watching my... And he always did. It's like he always knew. Trust me, if he was still alive, he'd be chasing us even now, waiting to ambush us. And he always shows up at the worst possible time. He was one of the best bounty hunters. Well, as happens on Nar Shaddaa, I made someone mad. Mad enough for them to send Hanhar out. Turns out they were even able to get him cheap. He'd heard about me and wanted to hunt me down, for sport. Well, he tried to box me down in vents beneath the Nar Shaddaa docks, and he'd said... I think he'd hoped to drive me into the mines and then let them do the work. Or that I'd be too scared to try and walk through them. Thing is, I knew Hanhar's supplier, and the trigger signatures for the mines. It was pretty easy to broadcast a signal. I figured that would buy me enough time to move through them and get away. Like I said, I disarmed the trigger fuses for enough of the mines to... I just made it to safety, and he survived. He was crawling around, blinded from the flash and the plasma burns. I had the drop on him, and even blind, he knew it. He could still hear me. My ears... I think he was begging me to let him live. I suppose I should have killed him, but I couldn't do it. And he kept hunting me ever since. He said he'd pursue that I would always be... Maybe. I've thought about that moment. A lot. Wondered if I would do things differently. Alright. It's all this traveling. I'd rather be doing... Yeah, it's been a while. Well, Nar Shaddaa, maybe it's got a life to it. Yeah, well... No thanks. Go ahead, Nat. Yeah, more or less. I wasn't born then. Well, the war happened. The first one, against the Mandalorians. It's what happens after the wars are over that you don't... I think so. After Revan crushed the Mandalorians, planets throughout the Republic were flooded with refugees. Me? I got passage to Nar Shaddaa. From there, not much you can do. Take a guess, Jedi. Only 2 groups of people would have lost family at Malachor. And as much as any slave becomes a Mandalorian. They took prisoners on every world they conquered to bolster their ranks, and they took a lot. When I was young, yeah. They mostly used me to carry ammo packs and munitions. They taught me to fight, to hunt, to survive. I was part of their squad, even when I was young. After Malachor, it really didn't matter anymore. Yeah, I know. I saw that kind of stays with you. I haven't forgotten it. What happened at Malachor, they... Should I be? Maybe I should ask you if you're Maybe it felt like you lost family there. Yeah, I know. That kind of stays with you. Should I be? Maybe it felt like... Yeah, that kind of stays with... Shoot. I'm good at finding people, so I used it to make... Not if you know your target. Usually you get a hollow or rough description, and then you just sort of listen to it, get a feel... And this is a little hard to explain, but Nar Shaddah's got a flow, a life to it. You know your target, you can feel them. I'm good at finding people, because when they're lost or out of place... Alright. I didn't kill him once. Are you sure you want to hear this? Go ahead and ask. I've killed people before. I know, it's different. I don't know. I haven't killed anyone for a long time. But I don't like it. And I don't know when or... Shoot. Made it. It's custom for me, which is a good thing, because I can show you how to make rockets, though, if you'd like. All it requires... Anything else you wanted to know? Alright. Talk. About what? Sure, they're easy. That's why I dress like this. When they're looking down to check you out, you can usually smash them on the base of the skull or deliver an uppercut that knocks them flat. It's simple. When you want a man, you jab him with a Bothan stunner, then starve him for 2 or 3 days. Call it what you want.
I heard you making friends with the bounty hunter. I don't blame you. She's a scrapper. You don't... I've known people like her. Maybe without the rocket launchers, but sort of the same. Maybe without... I wouldn't let anything she says bother you. It's a wonder you cracked her attitude. Alright, what did you want to know? No? Alright. Yeah. Nothing I didn't know. Anyway. Alright.
Yes. Is there something you have come to offer me? The fact we are even having a conversation is gratitude. And, of course, there is much more screaming. I am willing to indulge. There are several factors. There is the stabilization of Dantooine, the preservation of the restoration efforts on Telos, the destruction of my yacht and of all my activity. But perhaps the offer of credits will spur you to act quicker. For every system you stabilize, compassion and mercy. There is the stabilization of Dantooine, the preservation of the... You have stabilized Dantooine, the Republic. The political situation on Onderon has stabilized. You have stabilized Dantooine. Telos is instrumental to the stability of the Republic. Its success, of course, since the destruction of the Paragas facility, the odds of the Telos... Of course it was. If you had simply surrendered to the sea... I hope you do not decide that the next thing that perhaps one must ask themselves, as long as your defense does not... Then stop causing events of planetary destruction. You may speak. Now, that would be telling. For I am willing to indulge. It has been assigned to guard and protect you. It is skilled in intimidation, interrogation, and can provide... For the most part, it will follow your orders. Then its proton core will detonate, turning this ship into space dust. There is no negotiation. This unit comes with it. Use it, and it will... Its power sources. In addition, this unit... How droll. You may speak. The assassin droids. Why, I asked them to. To be honest, I believe that was always their intention. If you mean produced, no, I do not. I do know that there are a surprising number scattered throughout the Republic fleet searching. Of course they are. They're droids with very... Unless you shut them down at the source, they will be stalking you. Why don't you ask their predecessor? That are... They are masquerading as protocol droids. Because the Republic... Because their behavior... Of course they are. Unless you shut them down at the source, they will be stalked. Why don't you ask their predecessor? That archaic... I am willing to... A common misconception, not... Revan did not intend to destroy. I believe that by whatever means she used to build her armada, she recognized... My prediction is that whatever production facility... And that is why Revan left many minutes... That is what occupies my calculations as well. That is also a mystery to me. It is significant that it is my prediction that, unlike Revan, Malak demonstrated no concern. His stratagems were painfully off. He left quite a mess between the two.